Aangenaam kennis, dumelang, how's it? Tobela, sawubona. Kina Jacob Moshokoa, driving the new Toyota Corolla Cross. This one I'm driving is the XR Hybrid. Now, we're going to tell you all the new updates about this new car and why it matters in South Africa for many South Africans out there. Let's go. Let me paint the picture. Friday afternoon traffic in Cape Town, southern suburbs. Can't think of a more perfect car to be stuck in traffic with. It's this car, the hybrid Toyota Corolla Cross. So what do we need to know about the updated version of this car? Slight tweaks and changes here and there. First of all, you'll see it in front. The grille has been updated. It's very modern. They've done away with a full black grille. And in fact, what they've done is they've color coordinated the grille with the color of the car. There are some bold colors out there. There's a nice gold color on the new ones, but there's also subtle colors. Nothing more low-key than a white Toyota Corolla Cross. But the people who appreciate cars like this are people who appreciate quality builds. And I appreciate a quality build, specifically because of how Toyota in 2021 committed 2.6 billion rand to their factory to build this car. And talking about this car, 22,000 units of this car was sold last year alone, that being 2024. So Toyota's got the formula right. They're cooking. They really are cooking. Toyota is so confident in what they've built, they've even won the best compact family car at the Cars.co.za awards. They even took brand of the year for the year 2025. It beat the likes of the VW T-Cross and even the Kia Seltos. So, if you're buying a Toyota Corolla Cross, you are buying a brand that has heritage, a brand that is locally built, and a brand that is trusted for many, many years. So what does this new Cross actually have? Up front, we've got the 1.8 litre 4-cylinder motor. It's the usual one from the previous generation, CVT gearbox. But the twist here is we're driving the hybrid. It has the hybrid battery that is underneath the rear passenger seats. How does it drive? This is where it becomes a bit iffy for me, or a little tricky, if I might say. So I'm going up a little hill, I'm giving it a bit of power. I can just hear the car sound like it's struggling. I wish there was a better way to be able to ease it up the hill. It would have been nice to have some gear shifters, maybe to go up a gear or down a gear when I needed to. The nice thing that I do appreciate is the seamless transfer of power from the electric motor into the petrol motor. Sometimes you don't even feel it. Obviously, when I'm crawling in a parking lot or I'm crawling out of my driveway, the car is silent. You can't even hear it pull out because it's fully using the hybrid technology in the car. But for this, it gets a bit jarring for me, but I'll give it a bit of slack when it comes to that. Going on the bumps, it is a smooth ride. Now and again, when you hit a bump, it feels as though it doesn't absorb the entire bump. So I do think that it could have been a little softer at times. But overall, the general drive of the car is easy for day-to-day driving. Now, in the time I've been driving this car, I've been getting 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. I did an airport run a night or two ago, and that got me down to 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers, which is great. Now, in general, when you're going down a hill, it seems as though the car does help you with the coasting. Like at the moment, I'm coasting and I don't hear any engine noise. So that's because the hybrid technology is taking over and it allows for you to be very fuel efficient. Now, where this car definitely does well is in-town driving. City driving is easy for this car. Highway driving does seem to be a bit of, it seems like this normal engine blaring and making a noise, and it doesn't know where it needs to be at times. So the car definitely shines in the city driving around the burbs, going over speed bumps, etc. easy car to do your usual day-to-day school runs, but not the best of cars to do the long haul. When you are riding on the highway every day, chances are you'll get a little tired. Now, let's talk about what you're getting when it comes to the power outputs of this car. You're getting 90 kilowatts and 142 Newton meters of torque. All of that is perfect enough for you to be able to do your usual day-to-day driving. For me, I think that's all you need. Any mom who's looking for a proper run-around car, this is the car that they'll look at. Now, I'm gonna give away a little secret as well. I enjoyed or liked what the Toyota Corolla Cross was about when it was initially launched. In fact, I always thought a perfect day-to-day car is this car. And I have to be honest, I'm so glad that I ended up buying the competitor instead of this car, simply because I enjoy the DSG gearbox in a T-Cross versus this CVT gearbox in this car. Too many times I feel like this car doesn't know what it's doing with a CVT gearbox, hence I prefer the DSG gearbox. Far better gearbox compared to this CVT gearbox. But it doesn't take away from the feel of the car. The general outlay and feel of the car is still very good. But I think someone like my mom or my girlfriend would prefer this car way more than they prefer a VW T-Cross. Now, in terms of pricing of this car, one thing you gotta note is we are of course driving the hybrid, which is sort of mid-tier pricing, 545,000 Rand. But the entry-level non-hybrid 1.8 4-cylinder will cost you around 414,000 Rand. That's the entry level. Top of the range, you're looking at the GR Sport, which goes at around 561,000 Rand. But I think this particular XR version, hybrid, is the one you want to go for. It is the sweet spot. It's got all the amenities you might need in a car, and it is a hybrid after all. So if you think about long-term driving or long-term ownership with a car like this, then you know that you're getting a car that comes with an 8-year warranty on the hybrid system. You are getting a 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty in general, and then you are getting 6 services or 15,000 kilometer service plan. That alone makes you have a lot of peace of mind when you're thinking about getting a perfect family runaround car. And this car, it hits the nail on the head. It's the perfect family runaround car for city driving and school runs. When it comes to anything else you're looking at, then you might want to look at the T-Cross. You might want to look at the Haval Jolion. You even want to look at the Kia, because those cars may offer you something else that you might not get from this car. And that also includes the Hyundai Creta. I have to mention the Hyundai Creta. So there aren't many changes at the back of the Toyota Corolla Cross except for the tinted rear tail lights and of course an electric tailgate. We've all been waiting for this, thank goodness. Space-wise, 440 liters, about 5 of these budget cooler boxes. And then underneath here, you've got a space saver spare wheel, and all your tools you need to change a spare tire are located there. Then of course, we've got a 60-40 split, meaning the seats drop like that. But there is a bit of a hump here, and that's because the hybrid battery is located underneath the rear seats. Does that affect your seating position in the back seat? Let's check it out. Solid seating position in the back seat of the Toyota Corolla Cross. Just because underneath here there is a hybrid battery, it does not affect the way I'm seated at all. I don't feel like I'm sitting higher than the driver or any of that. I'm very comfortable here in the back. Looking at my shoulder to this part of the window, everything is perfect. I got cup holders here, well, one cup holder here, a bit of storage. More cup holders here in the center. Then of course there's a middle seat belt, which is great instead of that small little one here. And then there's a bit of storage here. I can direct the air for the aircon. And of course there's two USB-C ports, so no one's fighting for charging points here in the car. Then of course you've got a roof liner which is black. It's great, meaning it's not a white one, which you can see when it gets dirty. And then of course the party trick, or my favorite bit, is that slight little extra gangster lean that I can get in the back in case we're doing long distance, just for more comfortability's sake. Can you say comfortability? Yeah, for comfortability's sake, or for extra comfort. Now, on the driver's side of the Toyota Corolla Cross, few things have changed in the car. Those include a much more prominent and clearer digital driver display, which I appreciate. Steering wheel, not much has changed. Everything's still very similar. Buttons are very easy to use. On this side, there's a couple of buttons here, including the button for the 360-degree view camera. Now, I must tell you, you press the button, you look at the infotainment system, and I have to say, it is very disappointing. When you look at this infotainment system, it looks like you're looking at cameras from 2013 or 2015. The camera quality is very poor, and this is where I think the Chinese do a little better. You look at the Huawei Jolion, it's very clear here. You can see everything quite easily. Here it looks a little outdated. Mind you, this is a 10.1-inch infotainment system. Now, getting out of there and you're looking at the infotainment system, it looks also quite dated. I would prefer you plug in your phone and you use your Android Auto or your Apple CarPlay, and then it's a lot easier and a lot more modern for you to use your car. But going for the audio display and the system display and everything else for the clock settings, etc., it looks a little dated. And there's no knob to turn your volume down. You got to use a button to do volume down or volume up, and even switch on or switch off your radio. Would have preferred a knob. I like the fact that the aircon controls are done with buttons. That's nice. Coming down here, you've got a USB port, a USB-C port rather, and there is no wireless car charger. You've got three different buttons here in the front: driver mode, traction control, and EV mode. Coming here is where you'll see something that is different, and that's because there is now an electric handbrake instead of the foot handbrake that they had in the previous version. There's two cup holders, and then of course on the inside here you've got your storage, very little storage mind you, and a 12-volt outlet. There's a blank here. They should have actually put another USB-C port or even a USB port. Would have been better for the car, in my opinion. And then there's that brown armrest. The brown color continues here on this armrest. And the brown is obviously here on this side as well. Don't know where it comes from, but that's the car. That's the interior of the Toyota Corolla Cross from the driver's side. So, in conclusion, I've given you guys a little more info on the kind of car that I went for as my daily driver, which is the T-Cross. And now, after driving this car, would I ditch the T-Cross for the Corolla Cross? I think not. I think my T-Cross is winning simply because of the drivetrain. It's a far better offering with a 1-liter TSI DSG gearbox versus what I get in this car. But I understand why this car is one of the top selling vehicles in South Africa. It's an awesome build from front to back, head to toe. They didn't tweak much on this car because it's a great winning formula. People still find this car appealing, and they find it as the perfect go-to car for any family. So I really think the Corolla Cross is going to do way better than what it has already done. Considering that over 20,000 units were sold last year, I think it's going to sell way more units this year. And this is despite the fact that people, or less people, are choosing to buy brand new cars. Anyway, with that said, I think this car, it deserves the award it got at the Cars.co.za awards. It done extremely well, considering that this is the go-to place for many people when they're looking to buy a family car. So I leave this car very, very, very impressed with what it's got to offer, and I can completely understand why a lot of South Africans will make this car the go-to car for their household, or specifically for their family. So from me, Jacob Moshokoa, don't forget to like and subscribe. Always leave a comment if you want to get into this comment war. Let me know which car you would have taken, but it's pretty obvious. I think the Toyota Corolla Cross wins for a reason. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Okay, love you, bye!